Hello, everybody. It's Sagebo. Welcome to NFL Live. This is week 15 of the ever popular Emmy Award winning podcast for CFBHC. With me today is Dean Craig Felton.
What's up, guys?
And Imposter Coster.
Howdy.
So, we're going to start off today's discussion with our MVP pick and a Super Bowl matchup that we'll think is going to happen. Dean, what's your MVP and who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl this year?
All right, so I'm pretty sure we all discussed this, and we all think Nick Hall is the MVP. I don't even know if there's a discussion to be had. He's been incredible. The Raiders are undefeated. I think the Raiders go to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, probably win. You can't really pick anybody but the Raiders right now since they are, obviously the best team by far. I mean, they've just been dominating. But out of the NFC, I'm going to pick the Giants. I think their defense is superb, and I think the defense wins championships and will win the NFC championship, but ultimately not the Super Bowl.
All right, so from Dean, we got Nick Hall, Raiders, Giants. What do you got, Imposter?
Well, I can't argue the MVP pick. I do think Nick Hall is the clear favorite at this point. There are a few other questionable candidates, but if you want the general idea, Nick Hall far and away. Super Bowl picks, I've got the Raiders coming out of AFC. I think if the Chiefs get hot and make it in, they could be a potential dark horse, but I can't see that happening. Out of the NFC, give me the Eagles. They've got a nice set of playmakers on defense. AT and that offense have been hot. I see them coming out of that side of the conference.
All right, from Imposter, we got Nick Hall, Raiders, Eagles. And for Sagebo, I'm going to go with Nick Hall as well. He's the best player on the best team. It's a no-brainer, guys. Vote Nick Hall. For the Super Bowl matchup, I'll go with something different. Raiders making it out of the AFC. I think the other top teams in the AFC are imploding. As Will said, I like Kansas City coming in, but I don't think they have enough to beat the Raiders again. For the NFC, I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. Sure, they don't have a run game, but when they have Skaggs going to Skaggs.
And lose playoff games.
They'll lose playoff games. But we've seen in the last 3 weeks, people know that Donnie Hubbard is at most getting the ball 3 times a game. And they still can't stop Skaggs. So, Panthers, it's just something different. It could happen. NFC is a much bigger toss-up than the AFC.
Yeah, absolutely.
Without doubt.
With that, we'll go straight into one of the big NFC games this week. Thursday night, San Francisco 49ers against the LA Rams. It's a game where the 49ers won 25-19 in overtime off a Robert Shipp fumble recovery for a touchdown. Imposter, what are your thoughts on this game? How does it affect the future going forward?
Well, for the Rams, that might have been the nail in the coffin to their playoff hopes. They'll get Darnell Murphy back soon, but they've lost quite a bit without him. For the Niners, a great win, obviously. Big win over division rival. Orly Vaccaro is semi-competent in the coming in for Todd Lester. But Robert Shipp and Prince McGill, 2 big names winning this one for him.
Yeah, I have to agree. The rookies came out big, hit the fast, speedy Derek Schwartz in overtime. But I think the story of this was Orly Vaccaro against Jeremy Henry. What do you think these 2 guys have shown to us, Dean, in their spot starts?
I think Orly is, probably one of the top backups in the league, and Jeremy Henry's shown to be at least a decent one going forward. Probably definitely not going to be a starter anywhere down the line. I think Orly could be in the right place. But really, my biggest takeaway here is that the 49ers cannot catch a break and stay healthy. They lost Todd Lester like a week ago, and now they lose Joe Gammon and Kenyon Hendricks in the same game. They just keep taking blow after blow, and it's going to be really hard for them, even if they do wind up making the playoffs, to actually compete with all these injuries.
Absolutely. Well, one thing I do want to note is this was a divisional game between 2 teams that just hate each other. 11 penalties for the Niners, 14 penalties for the Rams. Just some undisciplined football. It was nice and close, but you can tell there's a hate between these two teams that have split the series every year since the 49ers' existence.
Niners just putting up some revenge from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. With this, I think the Niners control their destiny. They should make the playoffs this year. LA's got a task on their hands. It's going to be interesting to see if Murphy's healthy enough next week against the Falcons, or if they're going to have to roll with Jeremy Henry again.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just realized that there was like a really nice field goal battle at the end of the fourth quarter, where it was McGowan hit a 50-yarder with 44 seconds left, then Chamberlain hit that 58-yarder to tie it with no time left. That's like crazy.
in this game, Chamberlain hit multiple 50-plus yard field goals. So we really got to see a great kicker go up against a so-so kicker. Paul McGowan with several misses, a blocked extra point.
But a little clutch. He was a little clutch. Kind of redeemed himself with the 50-yarder, but well, I mean, it was enough. So it didn't really matter at the end of it. But maybe he lost some guys to injury because of it. We don't know when those guys went down.
Yeah, agreed.
Time.
Hard to tell. With that, we'll move into this crazy Sunday morning slate. Go, Chargers, go. Matty Swift and the Chargers going to Boston and shocking the Patriots. Before this, the Patriots had won, five straight games. And the Chargers had lost. I can't even count. I don't have enough fingers to count how many the Chargers have lost. What do you guys think led to this victory? We'll start off with Dean again. What do you think led the Chargers to this win?
A little bit of surprise. I think the Patriots maybe got a little cocky going into the game. Didn't really expect that much. But Lawyer Johnson turned it over a little bit too much. The special teams was a little bit rusty. They lost Gary Jones, their tight end, who is a pretty decent factor in their offense. And it just was not working in New England's favor. The gods had it out that San Diego was going to win this one, and that's what happened.
Yeah, so, Imposter, what are your takeaways from this game?
What happened in New England's rush defense? Sean Cole, 120 yards and 3 touchdowns on just 19 carries. That's very impressive for an offense that has really just struggled throughout, both through the air and on the ground. Swift was decent, 235, 2 touchdowns, did what he was asked to do. But yeah, between San Diego moving ball on the ground and the defense just teeing off on Lawyer Johnson, it was a perfect storm.
Yeah. Before this game, Lawyer is one of the safest quarterbacks in football. Only 5 interceptions for the year coming into this game. And I guess the snow got to him, 35 degrees, snow. Gillette Stadium's nice open air, but Josh Shanko just couldn't pound the ball. Chargers got out and just went blow for blow. 17-14 at halftime. Just kept piling it on near the end. Great stuff out of Sean Cole. He gets my game ball for this game. He's doing everything a running back needs to do when they have a rookie quarterback that's had his confidence shaken over the past few weeks. Tavian Oliphant coming up big on defense with the go-ahead interception to seal the victory, 55 seconds remaining. Big loss is Gary Jones, absolutely. Gary Jones is one of the top tight ends in football. Without that safety valve, it's going to be hard to see how Lawyer is going to finish out the season.
I think.
Go ahead.
You got to think the injury to Brad Weathersby really hurt the Patriots here because Tony Taylor 0 for 2 on field goals, and both of them sort of chip shots, 39 and 34.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think what we're going to see going in the future is guys picking up a kicker or a punter, putting them on their practice squad, so when these things happen, they can just go for a swap, send a guy to IR, do something. Because we've seen that the punter for kicker swap is just not worth it unless you have an elite punter, if you got or an elite kicker. We're gonna bounce our way over to the Bills and the Browns. Buffalo 25, Cleveland 18, one of the oddest scores. Cleveland starts off with a safety, gets up 5-0 at the end of the first quarter. The Bills go aggressive with two-point conversions that fail. What led to this Buffalo win, Imposter, and how do you think they'll do heading into the future with that tight AFC East race for playoff spots?
Really, this game came down to what Joaquin can do on with an ineffective running game, because Chad Dess going out is obviously the biggest story about this game. So Joaquin was able to do just enough through the air, found Frankowiak early in the third to put the Bills back up. But just being able to keep the ball out of the opposing team's hands, save the early interception, stopping Grady Mitchell on the ground, that's really all they needed to do in this one. Yeah.
Speaking of Grady Mitchell, what do you think his issues are, Dean, since you're part of that Browns front office?
I don't know. He started off the year pretty, seeming to be one of the best or better rookie running backs. And he's just fallen off a cliff lately. I don't know if people are playing the run against us. I don't know why they would do that. But I do think this was really just Buffalo's run defense being spectacular. They have one of the best front lines in NFLHC. But the Chad Dess injury, the thing about this was Chad Dess wasn't even having a good game. Will Hammond was pretty much as effective in his 4 carries as Chad Dess was throughout the entire game. So it wasn't a big blow this week with Dess going out, but in the future, I think it'll definitely have an effect on the offense, because I don't think Joaquin can just lead this team. I don't think he's a leader. I think he's a guy you can plug in, but I think it'll probably ultimately cost Buffalo a playoff spot.
Mm-hmm. Buffalo, the next 2 weeks, they have Kansas City at home, and then they go to Foxborough to take on a Pats team that just lost this week. It's going to be a tough ask for Buffalo to do what they need to do. They have to probably win out to secure their spot in the playoff. It's going to be tough taking on KC and the Patriots. We're going to bounce down to the Colts against the Bengals. The miracle in Cincinnati, Justin Nielsen, the 50-yard field goal, walk-off victory for the Bengals. Just an all-around great game for Cincinnati, shocking one of the contenders, Indianapolis Colts. Dean, what are your thoughts? What are your takeaways from this game?
All right, so this game came down to 2 main things. The defensive tackle for the Indianapolis Colts, who's one of the best in the league, Quentin Smith, he was out for the game. And Justin Thomas was then able to run all over the Colts. And then Lynn Bartowski playing just god-awful. Indianapolis had no threat outside Aaron Shea, and they just weren't really able to move the ball, even though they still put up 28 points. Cincinnati, even against a hobbled Indianapolis team, still did not look like a very good team. Joel King, he didn't turn the ball over. He had 2 touchdowns, but still, maybe had a 51% completion percentage. I know I'm sounding like a little rough on Cincinnati right now, but it was an ugly game, even though it was a decently high scoring game. It wasn't pretty.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Imposter?
Well, Joel King did what he had to do and not turn the ball over. But yeah, the injuries on the Indianapolis defense really played a part here. Ron Thomas was able to take advantage of the Quentin Smith injury, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns, which is very good considering how the year's gone for him. Yep, the run game for Indianapolis has just been awful without peaks. Mamadou has been decent a couple times, but not great. Lynn Bartkowski comes in with Mamadou hurt and just does this. It's very easy to read Indianapolis, and if they don't get a couple of these guys back, this might be a short postseason for them.
Do you want to talk about this quick Mosey Bartos taking on Jacoby Severns matchup that we got to see all day? Bartos finishing with 7 catches, 109 yards, and a touchdown. Severns picks off Aaron Shea once, going at his side. 7 tackles. We got to see one of the biggest physical specimen cornerbacks taking on the short and shifty Mosey Bartos. Guys, I feel like Bartos is a bit of an enigma. It's sort of hard to figure out why he's been so successful over the years. even against physically more talented cornerbacks. What do you guys think of Mosey Bartos?
Well, he's quick and slick. I'll just use those words to describe him. He can get away from corners decently well and provide Shea a nice open target. He's just fast enough to avoid this physical matchup.
Yeah, and Mosey Bartos, he's pretty much, I guess, kind of like Wes Welker, I would imagine. I don't know. I haven't really seen him play. But he's just one of those guys who catches the ball and he can make some plays. He's just very short, shifty, all those keywords. He's real gym rat. He's a real scrappy player. And, he just knows how to catch the ball, knows how to move the ball down the field. And I think another thing is Jacoby Severance, I'm pretty sure, has had a kind of big drop-off this year. He's always been one of the better corners in the league, and he hasn't really been showing it as much this year. I think it might just be the Cincinnati secondary being worse as a whole. I still don't think they filled that cornerback hole they had that was just gaping a year ago, and I think it's definitely been costing them.
Yeah, to follow up on that, Severance for the year, 19 tackles, 2 interceptions, including this game. Production has gone down. Next, we're going to jump to one of the uglier games out of an exciting slate. Baltimore Ravens 9, Houston 7. We've got to see 3 field goals out of Dennis Scott and a touchdown out of Blake Shell. But in the end, what really cost this Houston team was all the fumbles. They're playing at home, and then their running back fumbles, their quarterback fumbles, their receiver fumbles. What led to this? Was it a product of Baltimore's defense, or was it just Houston, some undisciplined play out of Houston? What do you think, Imposter?
I gotta favor Baltimore's defense here. It's been really solid over the past couple of weeks. Houston's offense, of course, isn't all that grand, and that showed today, but Baltimore's defense, really good, able to force the ball out in a couple situations, and I'd have to credit them with this one.
It's always a tough game when you have 4 turnovers. Hard to imagine any team coming out of it, but Houston still held this Baltimore offense to only 9 points. From their statisticians over at the Rome Stats Institute, Reggie Watkins had the worst starting game of any quarterback so far this season. Dean, you're in the same division as Baltimore Ravens. What do you think their chances are heading into the playoffs with no Booker T, Reggie on the decline?
I mean, we beat them, so obviously not that great. The thing is, Baltimore's got a good defense. They have a passable offense with Booker T. Washington. Without Booker T. Washington, it's pretty clear that neither option there, they had Marty Keisel and Greg Allen playing, neither option is good enough. Both run offenses in this game were terribly anemic, but at least Baltimore held on the ball. That's the reason they won, clearly. The thing is, they just don't have a lot of weapons. David Wells can go deep occasionally, and he can make plays, but that's pretty much all they have on Baltimore. Danny Patrick's a good red zone target, but you have to get the red zone to get there. And with Reggie Watkins and Greg Allen, probably not going to be happening so much. So Baltimore likely going to be a divisional round exit.
Yep, I think I'd have to agree with you guys. I think just the injuries piling up, Booker T is just so important to this offense. It's really going to be interesting to see how Baltimore's front office rebounds after the season. They've got a lot of decisions they can make over their personnel. Oh, it should be pretty interesting stuff as the AFC North continues to spin the wheel. Next, we have possibly the best team in football taking on the worst team in football. Oakland Raiders at Tennessee. And Vanderbilt graduate David Pennington coming back to his hometown and shutting it down. Interception, 5 tackles out of the rookie. What do you guys think of this game? Just standard 1 versus 32 beatdown?
This is pretty much what you would expect when a team with 1 win plays a team with 1 loss. Nick Hall was Nick Hall, and the Titans were the Titans. The Titans they've had so many problems with injuries and all that stuff, I think. I don't really know. I'm just assuming. But they're just not there yet. And they will have probably the first overall pick in the draft, so they can definitely get whatever they think the problem is. I don't know what it is. I feel like they're kind of like the Browns, where the Browns there's just so much like going wrong where you don't know where to pinpoint it because everything seems just all right. And Tennessee needs an elite player, I think, and hopefully they can find one. But Oakland, God, I love me some David Pennington going into the draft, and they nabbed him, and that's just adding on to all those talented players they have. Oakland's an insane team, and I feel bad for the rest of the teams in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Sorry. There's really not much I can add on to that, but Tennessee's really just been an injury-plagued team this year. So this, not quite an anomaly, really, but, I mean, we're going to see them do better next year. Either way, they need to pick up quite a few playmakers this draft, especially on defense.
Yeah, one thing to note, Kevin Williams, a fan favorite in Tennessee after his emergence this past few weeks, he really came onto the scene because of injuries to Cap Christian and Tommy Furry, both ACL tears, taking them out for the season. I think Tennessee has a pretty solid receiving group if they can just stay healthy. Chris Bell's problems have been documented. It's been a bit of a shamble over there. But do you guys think Tennessee moves on from Kareem Taylor? Should they go for a Brett Fisher type guy who's had a really good season but playing for a really bad team? Go ahead.
Fisher's talented enough to fill the role, but I don't know if they want to move on from Kareem Taylor yet. I feel like in this situation where they're only this bad because of a bunch of injuries, well, for the most part, I feel like just going to Brett Fisher now would keep him down a year.
What are your thoughts, Dean?
Well, the thing is, I don't know. I think they need to get someone else at that first rounder. So if there's a talent available in the second or third round that falls to them, then I think it's time to move on to from Kareem Taylor. But also, don't they have a backup that's pretty decent? Don't they have a Bobby Kaleidoscope or whatever?
Yeah, Bobby Kaleidoscope out of California. Raiders killer.
Lost a preseason game or something like that. So, I mean, if he could develop, then maybe you have an option there too. But let's have Vamos Ramos on the roster, so, you know, you have the GOAT. So I don't even know if they need to draft a quarterback. But, yeah, Kareem Taylor is definitely the average line, I think, for an NFL starter if he can find his way again. And I think it's definitely partly on the wide receivers. Even though Kevin Williams has emerged, I don't think there's anything else there, which has probably been tough on him this year. So I'd wait a little bit longer.
Dat Funk was recently rehired as GM of the Titans. He's always been a wild card. You don't really know who they're going to take. They're a pretty quiet organization, but they seem to be pretty well kept together.
Yeah.
Gonna end this with a quick fact bomb. Kareem Taylor for the season, 15 interceptions, 20 touchdowns. It's been a rough one for the old vet.
Yeah.
On to the Giants-Vikings, another big upset. Brian Vardell, Chester Henson coming up with the goods to beat a very tough New York Giants defense. What are your takeaways, Imposter?
Well, this is going to outline what I think the Giants' problem going into postseason is. When O.J. Carano has a decent to bad game, which I call this one decent, good amount of yardage, but turn the ball over, they're going to have to rely on R.J. Stanford to be accurate and efficient and not turn the ball over, which he did in this game. And R.J. Stanford isn't all that reliable. He's more on the downside more than not. And that really played a part in this game. That's great performance from Vikings, of course. And Chester Hansen got into the end zone once. Svardell, only 70 completions, 2 touchdowns. Very efficient from him. But, I mean, at some point, the Giants' offense has to compensate.
Yeah, their Giants have struggled offensively. R.J. Stanford's come under a lot of criticism in the Meadowlands. What are your thoughts on Stanford and this receiving group, Dean?
All right, so the first thing is you can't turn the damn ball over. And secondly, if you can't throw on the Minnesota Vikings pass defense, you can't throw on pretty much anyone. So the Giants definitely have a problem there. Because RJ Stanford, you can't just do it. Like Minnesota got blown up by Norris Brookshire a couple weeks ago. He dropped like 400 yards on him. It was like the best game of his career.
Mhm.
And you go out and put up 160, a touchdown, and an interception. No, you can't do that.
Gotta say,
That's
this is a Vikings
definitely
defense.
concerning.
Last week gave up 4 touchdowns to A.J. Jefferson.
Yeah.
Gave up a 160-yard, 2-touchdown performance out of Riddick Smith, and then all we got is 45 and a touchdown out of Cotton Lewis in garbage time, basically.
Yeah. If the Giants can somehow get Raheem Robinson, they'll be Gucci. But
You're talking long shots.
Well, there's actually a lot of good receivers in this class, I think, in my opinion. But so I think they definitely need to find a number one receiver because there's definitely not one. I wouldn't blame it on RJ Stanford yet because there's just not anyone there.
One big note:
mediocre guys.
Kansas City has the New York Giants first rounder coming into this season. Giants.
It's like they trade it to him like every 2 years.
Yeah, the Giants have a lot of investments that they went after Chester Henson with, couldn't get him, and they're left without a lot of draft stock capital heading into this next offseason. Don't know if they'll trade for wide receiver, try to sign a big one from free agency, or maybe wait for a guy in the draft. There's a lot of really good receivers in the draft. Next, we got, or what do we think about the Vikings? They're on a 2-game roll. They're now 8-6. What do you guys think of them? Do they make the playoffs?
In this NFC, I don't think so. I still think a couple teams like the Niners are in a better position. And we still know about Minnesota's secondary woes.
Absolutely. Their secondary is one of the worst in the SEC. Real quick, we're going to jump over to the last game. I think Dean has left us for a while. He said he'd have to take about a 5-10 minute break halfway through this. So it's just me and Imposter for a little bit. And the final game of this morning slate, we have the Detroit Lions 8-5 taking on the Green Bay Packers 5-8. And again, we get that little switch in the records as Detroit pulls it out 24-20 in Green Bay. What are your takeaways from this?
Well, LeCounte did a decent job of going after Green Bay's secondary, 331 yards and a touchdown. Found Adrian Allen a good bit. Green Bay's running game didn't exactly get off the ground today. 81 yards from Jazz Durant. Jason Johnson, decent best, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Got down close to the end, but in the end, Detroit pulls it out, largely in part of Keyshawn Thompson's pick six.
Yeah, Keyshawn Thompson's just a complete animal. One of the most dynamic players in football right now. We also have Adrian Allen coming up huge. It's been publicly noted a few weeks ago, Slinky Jr. coming out against AA, talking some smack on AA, saying he wasn't doing the production that he needed to. And obviously Allen heard the talk, came out, 7 receptions, 105 yards, and a touchdown. We don't really know if there were any injuries for the Lions receiving group to make Allen see more playing time. It's hard to tell, but some good stuff out of Detroit, especially defensively and in the passing game.
Yeah. A little close for comfort, arguably, but Green Bay still got a really nice offense.
I really feel like
a really nice offense. I said they have a decent, really nice is a bit of a stretch, but I wonder if they're actually going to move on from Johnson here.
Dean, are you there? Come in, John. Come in. Dean.
All right. Can you hear me now?
You're in and out. You might want to rejoin.
Okay, I'll just end the call and then I'll rejoin it.
All right.
Sounds good.
We'll stick with this game since it's Dean has some points to make about it. Let's go into the playoff picture right now. Detroit has a 1-game lead over the Minnesota Vikings for the NFC North crown. In their series, Detroit beat the Vikings twice this season. Meanwhile, Chicago's sitting at 7-7. It'll be a pretty tight finish, but I think with this win, Detroit has pretty much sealed up their playoff spot. Anything could still happen, though. Detroit has Philadelphia and Chicago away to end the season. Meanwhile, Chicago only has Green Bay and Detroit. And so, theoretically, if both teams win out, we could see the Bears win it as they would hold the tiebreaker over the Lions. All right, John, are you back? Dean Craig Pelton, can you hear me?
Which one?
The one that is not muted. Maybe he is muted. Hard to tell. Technical difficulties, folks. We recently fired our technical producer. He just wasn't allowing us to put up our shows the last 10 weeks. All right.
Rip.
You're back. You're back and clear. What do you have to talk about for the Lions game, and then we'll move on to some predictions for the week.
Lions have been kind of wishy-washy lately too. They don't seem to be really like dominating, and the wild card team and Detroit's the winning team. So I wouldn't quite give them lock to go to the playoffs yet, just because they've been kind of unpredictable as of late. And they put, I think a loss here is kind of what they would like to see at this point. Their running back play has been pretty lately. Chaz Durant didn't have a great performance here, but he's been a great receiving threat for him. And I think the big question is, when did the Packers move on from Jason Johnson? Is it this year? Is it further down the line? I'm guessing it'll just be whenever a quarterback falls in that they like, but they'll win them anytime soon.
Yeah, I have really mixed feelings about Jason Johnson. He's obviously got the talent. I would say he's an above-average quarterback. But at the same time, this Packers team hasn't really found success since, I would guess, maybe 14 or 15. It's been a few years since they've been playoff relevant at this time of the year. I don't know if moving on from Jason Johnson would be the right call, but I would understand it at this point. We've seen what he's got. Maybe someone else has better. So now we're into our predictions slide of the show, where we, as panelists, predict the results for the games coming up this week. To lead off, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at the Kansas City Chiefs. As always, we're going to go to our FanDuel betting line. FanDuel. Use promo code JUMBO to get a free $15 on your first purchase. Another thing I do want to bring up, our ever lovely weekly power rankings has Kansas City winning 24-21 over the Jags. Power rankings sponsored by Bingo. Great job, Bingo. Here we go. The spread for this game, Chiefs by 8. So what are your guys' picks? Do you think the Chiefs cover? Do you think Jax makes it? We'll start off with Imposter.
I think the Chiefs are going to cover here at home. I really do think they're one of the hotter teams in the NFL right now. Wheeler's been great. I think they'll do a great job at shutting down Sowell. I don't see Jacksonville playing as close as Bingo projects.
All right, so Chiefs by at least 8 out of imposter. What do you think, Dean? Dean?
Just cutting it out there. I'm taking the ton, but I'm going to say do not cover. I'm going to take I think it's going to be like 28. I think that's the Chiefs-Jacksonville game right there. Let's think Jack's player.
All right. So,
the rate as good as a record, maybe, so they keep them closer.
so we have the Chiefs winning but not covering. I'm going to go with the same. I think the Chiefs win, but I think Jacksonville beats the spread. The Chiefs always have that weird feeling where they're good and then they're not. Wheeler is really good until you notice he's good, and then he chokes. And I think this is about the time in the season where we're like, oh, yeah, Thomas Wheeler, he's so great, and he's going to pull out a stinker. That's just what I feel. I do think the Chiefs still win, though. They have too much talent not to. Jacksonville's a bit depleted, just talent-wise, but we knew they were going to be rebuilding this season. Next pick, we have the Denver Broncos taking on the New York Jets. Power Rankings has not picked this game because it is bingo, but the spread has the Broncos winning by 5. Imposter, again, we're leading off a few.
All right, well, Denver will not be able to cover this one. And I think we'll go with Jets out right here. Bo has not been great on the ground for Broncos. I don't think Warner will be effective against this Jets secondary. And another team that's been really hot past couple weeks have been the Jets. Offense has been figured out. Manny Fields has been a lot better than his early season form. Expect the Jets win outright in Denver.
All right, we have a Jets outright win. What is your pick, Dean?
Yeah, I never know with like either of these teams. You never know who's going to show up. This is in Denver, right?
Yes, it's in Denver.
I like Denver, but I only like them by about 3. I think it's another close game, and I think Denver's going to be able to pull it out. But with the Jets, I think they're definitely going to play harder. You know, they're going to try to sneak in the playoffs, but I just like Denver a little bit more.
So we have Denver winning. Do they beat the spread?
The spread was like 5, right?
-5, yeah. All right.
Yeah, no, they don't beat it.
All right. I'm going to go with the Jets outright. I think they're hot. Denver's on the decline. As I've stated earlier, they do have offensive struggles. Werner has really not been good this year. Only 56% completion percentage, 21 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. That being said, they just did hire a new guy in their front office, Miami head coach Caesari.
We hired him.
Oh, he went to the Saints?
Yeah.
Oh, wait. The Broncos hired Jarrett out of Western Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a very good run game coordinator, coaching up. He's been really good with the Michigan run game, Western Michigan run game.
Yeah.
So maybe he can get some good stuff out of Jerry Rambo.
Probably not.
We never know. We never know. It could be coaching. I do think the Jets win outright, though, even though it is in Denver. Emmanuel Fields has just been really good the second half of the season. Next game, we have the Eagles in Dallas. Eagles are favored by 6. Power rankings have the Eagles winning by 10, 31-21. We're going to start off with Imposter again.
Yeah, I think the power ranking prediction is pretty good. I think the Eagles are going to cover the spread here. Cowboys do have Sir Wendell taking over. I don't know how that would affect the score maybe, but again, that offense is just too good right now, especially for Dallas defense that has just been awful.
All right, we have Eagles beating the spread. What's your pick, Dean?
I'm kind of tempted to take the Cowboys in the upset with Yellow Evan gone. I still think the Eagles are good enough so that it won't happen. I will pick the Eagles, but again, I'm going to pick them when not beating the spread. I think the Cowboys will knock that off from happening. I think it'll be a little bit closer, but ultimately the Eagles still win.
I'm going to go with the Eagles winning by more than 6. Going to note DeAndre Hopkins, one of the most infamous players in the NFL, is currently tied for the lead in interceptions this year with 6 picks. I think he gets 1, maybe 2 today. Taylor Rodriguez has really struggled in his first year starting. Eagles keep rolling. I think they're going to get the #1 seed in the NFC.
Ooh,
Next game,
be a fast turnaround.
we got the Dallas Cowboys. Wait, no. We have the New Orleans Saints taking on the Arizona Cardinals. Saints are favored by 3.5. Imposter, this is your team. This is your boys. How are you going to rile them up, get them ready to play? They're favored for once.
Yeah, that's kind of surprising, to be honest, especially the game out in the desert. At this point, season's kind of over. Going to be trying a few different things on defense. Basically, Sterling has to do what he does normally, and that's get us great yardage. That said, Arizona's offense, they've got Jarius Jones back. Could be quite a struggle. This is going to be a high-scoring game, trust me.
High-scoring game prediction. Do the Saints win? Do the Cardinals win?
Can't pick. You'll get banned from the league. Got to be careful.
Yeah,
you got to be iffy, man. I'm trying to trick you. The media's always working.
I was going to ask, do I have to make a pick before I said all that?
Yeah, I got your back, man. I got your back.
Thanks, man.
And Bingo's prediction for this game: 42 New Orleans, Arizona 37. So he's got you guys beating the spread. What about you, Dean?
I think a little bit differently. I like the Cardinals' chances. I don't know why I like the Cardinals' chances. I just feel like they're kind of due for one of the Saints. No offense, have been playing pretty poorly as of late. Aaron Styles has been more of a turnstile than anything else.
Aha!
Indeed. I just think Jarius Jones can. Is he healthy? He is healthy, right? I didn't just imagine that.
Yeah,
Jared's healthy.
Yeah.
Jared's
All these years blend together. Jarius Jones, I think, will throw over the Saints defense, and it'll be a Cardinals surprise win.
I'm going to go with the Saints on this because I think the Cardinals defense is one of the worst. I know we've ragged on the Saints secondary, but outside of Ian Garner, name me a single Cardinals defender.
Exactly. Rob Evans did it. Nailed it.
Rob Evans? There we go.
Oh.
We got one.
Tom Reese.
Tom Reese, yeah. Tom Reese is good.
Oh, yeah, that was a good pick.
Yeah. So I just think the Saints have a bit more talent. Chicago Ted's a good coach. His boys will be ready to play, but I think Jarius comes out a little bit rusty. And Saints covered the spread.
If we're going to win this game, we have to play a fourth quarter.
Not going to happen.
We cannot give up.
Yeah.
Next, we have an NFC South clash. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers making the road trip up I-75 to Charlotte, taking on the Carolina Panthers. Panthers are a 7.5-point favorite. Who do you got, Imposter?
I have the Panthers winning here, but I don't have them covering the spread. I do think we're just flat out a better team than the Buccaneers, but Buccaneers have strung together a few decent results as of late. Without Odero, somehow they've managed to keep that offense rolling.
Brian Schlichter?
Yeah, Brian Schlichter.
Right?
Yeah, Brian Schlichter.
Schlichter put together a nice...
Schlichter.
Yeah, he's put together a nice run of performances lately. 2 touchdowns in the last game. I think it'll be about a 5-point game at max, but Panthers should come away with a win.
There we go. We have the Panthers winning, but the Bucs covered the spread. Over to Bingo's picks. He has the Bucs winning 22-20. I'm not that optimistic. I think the Panthers will win and cover. Just Skaggs is too good, and I don't think Tampa's got the secondary to handle it. What is your thoughts, Dean?
I disagree. I think the Buccaneers pull this one off. I just think they're kind of one of those teams that can just sneak up and surprise you. And with Taylor Hayden, he is still a very good quarterback. Is he healthy? Again, I also don't know this either.
Hayden is healthy. Hayden will be playing.
Yeah, okay. I'm 2 for 2 on these guys. I think he'll actually push them over and upset the Panthers this week, especially with the Panthers having no run game. It's a lot easier to hone in. And I think Wheeze or Wheezy or whatever he wants to be called, has been doing a good job.
I believe it's
Tampa.
Wheeze.
I was just gonna call him Wheezy.
Wheezy?
Like he's a rapper.
Wheezy.
So yeah, I'm taking the Buccaneers in an upset.
Bucks in an upset. So this one really had it all different commentators picking different things.
Mm-hmm.
See, the Sunday night game is the Pittsburgh Fighting Paul Davenports taking on Brian Brown and the Miami Dolphins in an exciting quarterback duel. We'll start off with Imposter. Miami is the 6.5-point favorites.
I'm going Pittsburgh outright here. I'm sold on this Davenport show. They've been playing excellent football as of late. Davenport has really come along. Defense has been surprisingly great as well. After being piss poor in his first 8-9 games. Miami, I don't think they'll have enough offensively. Brian Brown's still putting together nice numbers, but I don't think it'll be enough against Pittsburgh.
All right, Pittsburgh outright. Let's check the bingo. Bingo's got Pittsburgh 25, Miami 27. So he has Miami winning, Pittsburgh covering the spread. What's your pick, Dean?
I'm going to go with Dane Wilson getting a pick 6, but in a revenge game right
there. The revenge game, and, there we go.
But Miami pulls out, but I'm going to say it's a close one. I'm going to say Miami wins by 4, 35-31. Brian Brown, clutch as fuck, still gets the W.
All right, we got Miami winning, Steelers covering the spread. I'm going to go Steelers outright. Paul Davenport, I'm completely sold. He's doing it all, and I'm not as sold on this Miami Dolphins defense that was just gashed by Manny Fields last week. I think Davenport's going to have some big holes up the middle that he's going to take advantage of. It's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a very, very good Sunday night football game. But I think the Pittsburgh outright by a touchdown.
Sure.
Last game of the slate, we have the Seattle Seahawks going coast to coast, going to take on the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta. Seahawks are a 4.5-point favorite. Who's you got, Imposter?
Well, AJJ had a nice momentum booster after beating the Vikings last week in his first game back from injury. Seattle secondary provides a much stouter challenge, and I think Seattle is going to cover here, but just barely. Seattle's offense is struggling, but the defense is just too good, too hot to handle.
All right, we got the Seattle Seahawks beating the spread. Bingo's prediction has a very close one. Seattle 34, Atlanta 31. So we've got Seattle winning, but Atlanta covers. What's your pick, Dean?
I think Seattle's actually been pretty dominant lately, and I don't think the train slows down here. I think Sophos has kind of figured out what he's supposed to be doing with the Seahawks as a team. And, I think AJJ is still trying to get back into rhythm with the Falcons. And I think, unfortunately for you, you drop another one here and the Seahawks win and beat the spread. I think this is going to be actually less close than most people would think. I'd say maybe 34-14 Seattle.
Ooh, wow. The blowout. I think we're going to win. That's all. That's all we got, folks.
You can't make picks on here.
You didn't bet.
Go Falcons, go. I'm the GM. We're not real staff members.
Yeah.
Darn.
Yeah.
As predicted, we've got about half an hour, 40 minutes until the afternoon slate. If you guys have questions in the shout box, go ahead and ask the panelists. We've got a few banter questions that we can just go around. This one's going to be first. It's going to be Coach of the Year predictions. It's a pretty good one. It's pretty nifty. I'll lead off since I've had this in my head for a while. Let the other guys get their stuff together. I am going with, drum roll please, D-Stack of the Philadelphia Eagles. I think this Eagles turnaround has been fantastic. Sure, Alan Taylor being on this team gives you a second coach, but the way that D-Stack has completely retooled the offense, going from Ken Eller to AT, and exploding all over for a big NFC East lead. I think they're going to win the NFC East. I think they're going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC, potential Super Bowl champions. It's got to be props off to D-Stack. He's made some great lemonade out of the lemons handed to him. If you guys are ready, go ahead.
Let me just make sure this person's actually coach. Yeah, I got mine. But if
Go.
you want to go Buster, you're good.
No, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to deal with Vol Magnin out of the Kansas City Chiefs. He's actually made Nimsy's, pieces fit like the puzzle it's supposed to be. And the Chiefs have actually been very good team this year. They're looking at the playoffs. I think that's their first time that they've actually even been close to it. The Chiefs are looking pretty good this year, and I think Vol Magnet's been a key player in that. So it was a good pickup by Nimsy. And, Vol Magnet's been looking good. Give him a shout-out.
All right, Vol Magnet, D-Stack, who's your pick, imposter?
If this team were still undefeated, this would be a lot easier, but I'm still going to go with Alien out of Oakland. This has been an absolute dominating year for the Raiders. One of the best we've seen in a long time. He's got him at 13-1 now. Locked up the number 1 seed early. Went 11 games already without a loss. This has just been pure domination. And if this thing goes to the Super Bowl and potentially wins it, I don't think there's any question about it.
Yeah, Alien's going to win Coach of the Year, GM of the Year, and Owner of the Year. He's just going to win them all.
Walter Payton, Man of the Year.
Yeah.
Alien UFO. For his commissioner duties.
MVP, Alien UFO. He's the most valuable person on the Oakland Raiders.
Let's see. Some other questions. Who wins the clusterfuck known as the AFC East? By Jumbo. I'm going to go with the Jets. I think the Jets are hot. I think they're better talent-wise than the Bills. Patriots had a big implosion today. So I think the Jets are in a good spot. They do have a tough test against Denver today that could change the pick. But right now, between the morning and afternoon slate, I'm going to go with the Jets. Who do you guys got?
Well, the Chad Dess injury really changed my outlook. I can't disagree with the Jets. Between them, the Bills, or the Dessless Bills, and the Dolphins, I do think the Jets are in the best shape, especially with a recent run of performances.
There we go. 2 picks for the Jets. What do you got, Dean?
I kind of like the Dolphins. I think they're kind of figuring it out. I think the Jets kind of blow one today, and I think the Dolphins put themselves right back into contention. For them, because they're obviously a game back, and the other teams will not really anymore. Just the Jets. That's really all I have to worry about now. Just kidding. The Bills are ahead of them. I forgot they won. But they also lost that game because they lost Des. That's tough. That's really tough. I'm gonna Dolphins, but just very hesitant on that.
Hesitant Dolphins pick. From Saluna, GM of the Year. This is going to be a pretty tough one. I don't really know if we can rate GMs just in 1 year, so it's always tough. I'm going to go with the easy call, and that is Alien UFO for assembling that juggernaut of a team that he has.
That's definitely the easy call. I'm going to go with Sleuth of Bears in New England. I think he turned him around like that on a dime. Definitely not a great team still, but impressive that they're at least going to be a 500 team this year after what happened with Dean, who's definitely learned. So this isn't just like a random Dean, but, he knows what he did. Sleuth did a good job turning it around, for sure.
All right. So we got Alien, Sleuth. Who's your pick, imposter?
I was going to go over to the NFC and pick Proletariat for the Eagles.
Oh, that's a good one, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he brought in the big man AT, and Philly's been so much better than last year. You can account that to D-Stack's coaching as well, but I think getting AT in, among others, was the biggest accomplishment for that team.
It's all very good picks. There we go. Saluna coming in. That was Alien, you fucks. NFL is not me. He just wants his ego stroked. There we go, Alien. There we go.
We definitely gave him a nice ego stroke there too. So you're welcome, Haley. We got a request for who do we think the number 1 pick will be? When we do that one.
Right. So I think a safe assumption is the Tennessee Titans will have the number 1 pick this year, especially since the Chargers won this week. I'm going to go with Brett Fisher. I really think he's that good of a quarterback, and I don't think Kareem Taylor is the choice here. That being said, there's some really good defensive linemen. There's also really good receivers, but I think Fisher to the Titans makes a lot of sense. He'd be almost a Vince Young type guy going to the real-life Titans, except Vince Young played on an awesome team, and Brett Fisher is not playing on an awesome team. That being said, there's a lot of other things to factor. Will the Titans actually go for a quarterback? Will Brett Fisher
they trade down?
Yeah, will they trade down? Will Brett Fisher struggle for the rest of the year and not have the good games he had with like 4 total touchdowns and the Hurricanes still losing?
Brett Fisher's gonna struggle for the rest of this year anyway because his wide receivers is just absolute dog shit.
Mm-hmm.
He can just go to Tennessee and also enjoy some more dog shit wide receivers outside of Kevin Williams, pretty much. So he's just gonna have his life made then, man. But,
he knows how to struggle through adversity. He's got great character, great heart. Nashville's a nice blue-collar city.
I would like to see him go there, but I think they go away from that. I think they go defense with the first overall pick. If they keep it, I'd say it's Tyler Jones or Anthony Miller, and I'm going to go with Anthony Miller because that Tennessee connection.
Tennessee to Tennessee.
Always love to do that. Yeah, that'd be nice. Gets to stay in the area. Doesn't really have to move. He can just stay in his dorm.
Stay in his dorm. Who do you got in Boston?
Well, Dean did make me to punch here. I was going to pick between Jones and Miller, and I think Miller is definitely a better fit for the Titans. And I believe he's been more consistent on that Tennessee D-line than Jones has for Mississippi State.
Yes. So we got defensive end and quarterback. I think quarterback deserves the value. Brett Fisher is easily my favorite quarterback in this class. I think he's a lot of people's quarterbacks.
And don't sleep on Raheem Robinson going to the Titans. I think it's a possibility.
Yeah, Raheem is a generational wide receiver. I don't think we'll see another guy like him for the next 5-6 years, maybe.
I think maybe 10 years if it makes it to that point. I think he's crazy.
The dream lives on.
Yeah.
CFPHC. When we're all in our nursing home.
Yeah. We finally see someone who's the next Raheem Robinson. Raheem Robinson Jr.
Here's one that people haven't asked, but I just thought of it. Who do you guys think are clear locks to declare early? I'm going to go with, Akil Morris out of Nevada. He's an animal inside linebacker. He does it all. He gets picks, fumbles, interceptions. He's just that rare type of defensive players. And if he declares, he's going to be top 5, top 3 maybe. He's that good. Even though inside linebackers tend to fall, I don't think we've seen one like Akil yet. He's an animal.
Yeah. Because he actually puts up the stats too. And that was the problem with Haywood. He just didn't put up the stats. And people were like, maybe not. But, Akil puts up those stats and he puts them up hard.
I'm going to go with a more risky one. I'm going to go with the 4-5 out of North Texas, Javier Grady.
Ooh.
This is a monster defensive end class, but Grady has put up some of the craziest stats of any defensive end. It's going to really depend on how he feels, but I think he'll come out as probably a 78 overall. He'd be a steal.
I feel like he might be kind of like Hardison was, so I could see that happening. But I don't know. I'm hesitant on that one. But you never know.
Yeah, I was going to say Grady. Thanks for taking it from me. I think this guy's an absolute beast. Faltered a bit against Arizona, but we'll see more of him this year if he declares, which I expect him to, since that North Texas defense or that team as a whole is just bad. he should be in the draft.
Let's see. I'm going to just list some players off, and you tell me if you think they'll declare. Oklahoma Sooner Graham Burnett.
Ooh, I think he should declare. Because I think there's not any like really elite quarterbacks in this class. There's a bunch of underwhelming guys out there. It's Brett Fisher, who's definitely a big question mark, and then so I definitely think he should go.
All right, we got one for Graham Burnett. What's your thoughts?
Should he? Yes. Will he? I'm going to say no if Oklahoma doesn't get it done this year. I feel like he has that drive to come back for more and actually accomplish a conference or even a national title with the Sooners team, because they can do it within the next 2 years.
That's cool.
I think Burnett's a monster prospect. Oklahoma's also locked down the best wide receiver of this recruiting class. If he does return, I think Burnett's stock increases. So that's why I think Burnett stays. I think he's going to hold off. He's going to wait till his true senior year and then go. But he could go either way. Definitely could go either way. Let's see here. Out of the #1 Florida State Seminoles, wide receiver Luke Cobb.
No. Just because there's so many really good wide receivers in this class, I'd say wait. I don't think he should come out this year. I don't see the point.
Without a doubt, he's staying. This is a really deep receiver class. Just throwing him into this is not great for his stock.
All right, so we got yes, Graham Burnett, no, Luke Cobb. We're going to go with tight ends now. Out of Virginia, Mr. Probable ACC Player of the Week, tight end Jonathan Greer. It's a 6'2", 217 tight end, blocking tight end.
It's a tough one.
Yeah, I don't know enough about him, so I'm just going to say yes. I'm going to say he goes just because. That's my gut. Since you brought him up, I'm going to say yes.
It's not the best tight end class. I mean, you have Curtis Henry of Utah State and William Johnson of Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
He'd be a good fit in this draft. I just don't know if he would declare.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I don't really think he declares. I think it's a weak tight end class, but I think he'll stay. And then the last offensive player I'll bring up, probably my favorite offensive lineman in the nation right now, out of Kansas, Ben Good, offensive tackle.
Yeah, this is another guy. It's up in the air because I don't know how he'll wait out because Taylor Randolph's another very, very good offensive tackle. And, Donald Reed's pretty good too. So it's tough for him to just say, yeah, I'll go out this year. Because he definitely could if he wants the money now, go take it, young man. But if you want to sit back, another year, stay with the good old Storm Stopper, more power to you. He's so good, though, I don't think it matters. So I'd say he could go either way. I'm going to say he does declare.
All right, we got one for Ben Good, imposter.
I'm going to lean towards no, just because I like this class here. You got Taylor Randolph, Donald Reed out of Virginia Tech, Dylan Hastings out of BC, even Raphael O'Donnell out of Colorado State. We've got a pretty nice tackle class. Good would be right among them, but I feel like it's still too risky for him.
All right, we're going to switch to defense now. On a personal note, I think Ben Good does declare. He's really good. Defense, the name that pops to everyone's mind, defensive tackle Christian Okonkwo out of Oregon. Dean, who do you got? Does Okonkwo go out? Does he stay in?
I think he might just go out. He's really talented as well. I don't know if there's a lot left for him. He's losing his buddy or a partner in crime with Eric Jennings leaving. And, maybe he just wants to be the anchor himself, but I think ultimately he'll decide to declare as well.
All right. How about you, imposter?
If he does declare, he will be the first defensive tackle taken. I can almost assure you that. He is a generational talent. I think he should declare, and I think he will declare.
I also agree. I think Christian Okonkwo is a lock to declare, just like Akil Morris. If either of those guys don't declare, I'll be very surprised. They're just too good not to.
I bet one won't, just because you said that.
All right. Let's see if there's any defensive backs I recognize.
There's always the ever-living question of Marquise Reed.
And Marquise Reed, I don't think he declares. I think he's been really good, but I don't think he declares. He's just learning that cornerback position now after transitioning from free safety. He's going to take some time, really learn that position before declaring.
Yeah, before he, pushes it finally. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I don't see him declaring, but it's always interesting to
a quarterback that might possibly declare, though, is the very hyped Andrew Boyd out of Boston College. Boston College recently dropped a game this week. They haven't been as successful in life after LaShore. Maybe Andrew just wants to go make his money. He's a 5'10", 175 junior, but he's a 5'5" man cover quarterback. It's a weak class of quarterbacks as well. Him declaring would almost lock him up to be a first-round pick guaranteed. So do you guys think he declares, or do you think he stays? We'll go with
I kind of think he's going to declare, just because, he had that connection with Jumanji, and smoking cricket, while he's a good coach, he was not Jumanji, Boyd really had that connection with Jumanji, and with this weak cornerback class, I think Boyd does decide to declare and get that money.
How about you, Imposter?
This is a really nice year for a cornerback to declare. BC's had their struggles this year, but it hasn't been because of that secondary. Behind Boyd, they have been one of the better secondaries, not only in the conference, but in the country. With only Blake Turner and Jordan Harris, along with the two LSU corners, Eugene Malone and Ronnie Bailey, really standing out so far, I think this would be a really good year for Boyd to go pro.
All right, so there we have it. We'll wrap up that segment. Possible early decks. I think panel consensus would be Akil Morris, Christian Okonkwo, Andrew Boyd, and Ben Good. And Graham Burnett. Yeah, so those are some of the best juniors in the nation. Some pretty fun stuff. But at the same time, fuck early decks. They've taken so much away from me. It's always sad. All right. If you guys have any other questions, anything the other panelists would like to discuss, we've got 20 minutes to burn.
I believe there were a few other questions pushed on the shout box earlier. That said, they've all been crushed out. So, yeah.
Yay. Did we want to try to play matchmaker with some of the top prospects?
Yes. Oh. Good memory. In this segment, we're going to pick a team and pick a player and talk about why we think that team and player would be a good fit for each other. Dean, since you brought it up, it's obvious you got something in mind. Who you got?
I don't, but we will do some work on the fly here. Let's see. Let me try to remember. Damn it. Hold on. There's definitely a team that needs Raheem Robinson, and I'm blanking on who it is. Oh, the Chargers. The Chargers definitely need Raheem Robinson because they have no threats outside of Scott Howard at receiver. And there's a glass that just fell, and there's another one, but that's okay. Raheem Robinson is the perfect solution to all of the Chargers' prayers, and hopefully they'll be answered. But well, at least for the Chargers. Other teams probably are hoping that they do something stupid. But yeah, Raheem Robinson is the perfect fit for the Chargers.
Oh, man. That's probably the best one. I don't know how any of us are going to top that. It just makes so much sense.
Rapid wants Tampa.
Tampa. All right. Let's look into some Tampa stuff.
Let's see here. Question of whether or not they re-sign Odero. Outside of that, good need for center. Defensive end, maybe.
Yeah, I think. I'd probably say Tyler Jones maybe would be the fit for
Tyler Jones.
I don't
Tampa.
I don't think Jones falls that far. Because they're going to be maybe.
Jones is top
Well,
5.
that's
I don't
true.
know if
That's
Jones will be able to get him.
If they could get there, he'd be a good fit. So maybe let's go a little bit lower.
If you do want a
Jared
good
Self.
I personally don't think Self is all that great. If they want a good defensive end, I would recommend one of Eric Jennings or Dexter Flowers. Both of them are really nice. Eric Jennings has the experience of going up against tougher O-lines than Flowers.
I don't know. They're. Oh wait, I was thinking of Michigan. Never mind. I was about to jump in there, but they.
I'm gonna go with
scheduling.
I'm gonna go with an unsexy pick. I'm gonna go with the guard, South Carolina, Russell Benson Gifford. I think just playing to your strengths. You got a good defense. You have a good running attack. You got an obvious hole at left guard with Harmon Cooper. He's a 2-year pro, but he's only a 74. Maybe adding on probably the best guard in this class in Russell Benson Gifford would be a good pickup. If you did want to look defensively, my only thought would be Aaron Blakely out of Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
he's a possibility. That guy's got tier.
If he falls that far, which I doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll be snatched up early.
Yeah. I think there's a big difference between various GM decisions there. I know some really like their generational talents. They'll trade up for quality. Other people will go for guys that fit their scheme maybe and try to get guys that come in. And the other guys will probably just pick the best guy at every pick, not move up or down. So I don't really know how Rabbit's going to handle this upcoming draft. He's got various different ways to do it.
I mean, I know he's contemplated not signing Otero. So I don't know what the plan at running back for them is, if that is the path they choose to take.
Schlichter.
Oh yeah, Rabbit says you're forgetting our injured star, Zach Cole. Zach's a really good offensive guard. I didn't see him on his depth chart, so I guess that's what my thought was. Yeah, Zach Cole's really good. Yeah, I don't really know. I guess defense. Yeah, depends on who they re-sign. Probably, I guess replacing Rudy Cinciano. It's a really good defensive end class. Or maybe getting Aaron Blakely if he falls far enough. Bucks are very talented though. Just be a matter of how they want to coach him, how they'll use it up. Let's see here. Any other matchmaker picks?
Kind of want to know who you guys think for the Browns.
Browns. Oh Lord, the Browns and their 10 first-round picks. What will they ever do with them?
Where's that first pick at? I'm sure you know, Dean.
I think they're both top 10, but they're both close because there's so many teams at the bottom this year.
I think it's like 4 and 6 or 5 and 7, something like that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
Well, if you get 4, the Browns in general are just kind of we're decent in a bunch of places, but it's not good enough. So I would consider taking one of those generational talents. I don't think you guys would get Raheem, so I'm going to go with one of those defensive ends. Probably Tyler Jones. I think Miller is the first one taken off.
I would agree. I would think defensive end with the first pick. And then I'd really think hard about where you want to be offensively. So in the rest of your defense, you've got some good players. Maybe Aaron Blakely, if he's there. It'd be another young free safety, but I don't really know what to think of Hernandez. I thought LaMichael Jones was pretty good, but he's second on your depth chart, so you guys might think otherwise.
I think Wade and Hernandez have both been strong. I really did like LaMichael Jones too, but I just also really loved Andrew Wade coming out of Boston College because he was just on every single stat line in the playoffs.
Yeah. But the big hole on your team is that the sheer fact that Clark to Ty Miller can't win games. I think you guys look for a running back, and in this class we have two very good running backs. It's your choice between Terrence Rogers, JB Blacknail. Both are guys that produce very well. I think if I was in your spot, I'd do running back and defense. It's an early pick for running back, but I do think Terrence Rogers is very, very good.
I'd agree with that sentiment.
Yeah, I believe Terrence Rogers is actually better from Pacheco. And that's saying something because I'm really high on Pacheco.
I also like Musa good. I recruited him, and he's turned into a good player. And I think people might sleep on Musa, but he's turned into a lot better running back than he looked like he was going to start.
Musa has done really well this year.
Yeah, he's solid. But it's kind of like Bradley Cooley, I think, so he might not turn out too good. But he's a better Bradley Cooley, so, you never know.
Let's check out a team that is definitely rebuilding. Let's go with the Arizona Cardinals. They've got a number of picks early on. Actually, I think they just have one first-round pick, but it looks like they have their future guys at quarterback, Jarius Jones, Marshawn Matheson. Where do you guys think Randy looks at? I'm sure it'll be something crazy that we'll never think about.
I feel like Blakely would be a good fit there, right? I'm doing this off the top of my head because I think they definitely still need secondary help, and I think
they have an 85 overall Reggie Beasley.
Reggie Beasley's good.
Reggie Beasley's your best defensive back by rating.
Yeah. I'd go Blakely. I think he's probably the best secondary player there, and that's still a gaping hole. But they could go. See, the thing is, I think they definitely need help also at outside linebacker, but this is just not a class for outside linebackers, so they can't fill that yet. Just Aaron Blakely, I think, is the fit there.
I'm going to go differently. I think they have a bigger need on the O-line. I know Lucas Hurt is a really nice center out of Alabama, and they need a center. Other than that, you could get a tackle guard. We've discussed that a bit. I think defensive end is also a really big need, but I don't know if Jones or Miller will be there for them. So if they're going to go with the first-round pick and those defensive ends are not on the board, I think Hurt is the right pick for him.
I agree. I like Lucas Hurt to the Cards. He's just really good. Instantly improves that offensive line that allowed two quarterbacks to be knocked out. They just need to keep Jarius up. That's really it. Jarius plays like he's a football turret. He just stands in the pocket and delivers, and they really need to just be able to keep him up in the pocket. I think Hurd is the guy for it. Hurd's very analytical. He'll be able to call different protections. Should be a good fit. Do you guys have any teams you want to talk about? You got about 10 minutes.
What about one of the playoff teams?
Playoff-bound teams. Let's check out.
What are some?
Well, we could talk about
Yeah,
the Giants and how they definitely need a wide receiver, but we already touched on that. But I'd say Jeremy Cook or Sam Hiller-Weedenby fits there, so just throw that one out.
The big issue with the Giants is they have no first-rounder.
Yeah, I always forget that.
That's going to kill their wide receiver pick. I think they do need wide receiver, but I think the first realistically good receiver they may get is Lamont Crawford out of Temple, who I'm really high on.
Think if Tyrus Wilson falls to that point, that would be perfect.
Yeah, Tyrus is an animal. I love Tyrus Wilson.
Yeah, he's not going to fall there, I don't think, anymore.
We've already talked about him. He's got the hype. It's over.
Yeah, the hype will build, too.
Yeah.
It always does.
I like the towering Gerald Morrison out of Boston College, but that might be too low a pick when their pick finally does come around.
Mm-hmm. It'd be the bottom of the second is what it's looking like.
So, yeah, that'd be Crawford, Anderson, Doherty range, in which case I'd favor Crawford.
Yeah. Let's see here. Playoff teams besides them. How about we already know the 49ers are just going to go with who's fastest. What's the fastest fullback? John Hernandez out of Kentucky. All right. Uh, what about the Eagles? I haven't looked at the Eagles depth chart in a while. Let's see if we can figure out any holes for them. They have Alan Taylor, animal.
It's going to be a line.
Offensive line, you think?
Be free safety is a big one. Actually, just secondary in general, outside of corners.
Yeah, the thing is, they're definitely not going to get a
Yeah, Blakely will be gone by then.
Blakely's
I don't.
way gone by
maybe
then.
T.J. Lawrence, but I don't know if he's actually that good or not. I can't recall his name until I just saw it, like right now.
T.J. Lawrence out of Notre Dame. In my opinion, he's a fringe first rounder. If he was available at the spot, I wouldn't think that was a good pick, but I wouldn't think that was a bad pick. I just be like, okay, yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah, outside of Blakely, I'm not sold on any of these free safeties.
Maybe Daquan Darcy, if he's there. If he's there at 32, I think that'd be a decent pick.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just don't think he'd be there. They could definitely go with another DE to complement Frey. I don't think they do that, though, at least not that early. I think they probably will wind up leaning to maybe go with left tackle, because their left tackle's a 4-year guy. He's only an 81. That's not very promising. I was just getting to have Peebles. And I was looking at right tackle, too. So don't.
I was like, Toby Madden just got drafted.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Yeah. I can totally read, guys. So, yeah, back to the secondary. I guess free safety. Maybe take a wide receiver in the first round to spice up the offense a little bit, because they're not too great. They have Michael Hawkins, but that's pretty much it. Christopher Johnson's pretty good, former Brown.
I think Wheelahan out of Arkansas is pretty good too.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's he's a slot guy right now, but
I think they have 3 slot guys.
I agree. Yeah, Wheelahan probably
Play.
goes outside, but he's not polished enough to be an outside every guy.
I think they could definitely use like Jeremy Cook or Sam Miller-Weeden
Yeah.
if they fall.
I think Jeremy Cook will be gone. I think Sam Hiller-Weeden will definitely be gone. That guy's, in my opinion, he's a top 5 pick. But I've been saying that about a lot of guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of top-end talent, and then the middle of the first round is where we're going to really see GMs make their money. And do you guys think Curtis Henry is going to be a first-round pick? Utah State tight end?
Ooh. I think too many people have been burned in the past. Like we saw Matt Stone fall, and he's probably better than Henry was. I doubt it. But it's possible.
I think if he does go first round, it'll be among those last 4 or 5 picks. I think he's a really nice talent, probably deserves to be drafted higher, but I just don't think people buy it on him.
I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if he went first round, but I think I have him graded right now as an early second round guy. Just tight end in the first is a bit too scary. He's got the talent. He's got the size. He's 6'6", 202, but still iffy. Still iffy.
Yeah.
Right.
What about Raiders?
Raiders need nothing, and they'll get nothing. They could maybe use another running back, depending on your opinion on Emmett Spears, even though he's been pretty good this year. That's just off the top of my head.
I think defensive end.
Yeah.
If there's any left.
Sure.
If
They'll get the last scrap.
yeah, hell, if like Shavarine is there, I'm really high on Shavarine.
Yeah.
I don't really know what to think of Dexter Flowers. I know he's been graded as a top 3 defensive end, but I would almost rather take Jennings or Vereen over Dexter Flowers. He's just a scary pick.
Also Hall. Isaiah
Yeah,
Hall, the Bowling Green's
I was gonna say, keep an eye on Isaiah Hall. I think this guy's really good. Plays a part of a nice Bowling Green pass rush too with Brandon Thomas.
Brandon Thomas is another guy that I can't wait to join the pros. He's been incredible. He's like the Akil of outside linebackers. And now that we say that he's going to be terrible the next 2 years and declare and then go pro, it's like a 72.
I'll still draft him.
Late round gem.
Game should be up in like a minute, so.
Yeah, we're almost there, boys. We're almost there.
The wait's almost over.
Yeah, we're bantering as well as we can.
And then we can go back to our everyday lives as a Chuck E. Cheese worker, construction worker, and student.
One day I'll be in the big leagues.
Yeah.
One day you'll
be at the Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, McDonald's line chef.
Yeah.
Up there.
All right, we'll take the 1 minute to recap. Just hold it to yourself. See any crazy stuff. Aha.
Oh, that's surprising. Oh, that is surprising.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Haven't looked yet. Okay, now I'm doing it.
Oh my god.
I'm liking it.
All right, not entirely shocked.
Oof, that was close.
Oh damn. Oh damn.
Woo!
Oh damn. That's a good one.
Some close games. Some close games.
Yeah.
Good stuff all around.
Let me see the line on that real quick. Aha! They didn't cover.
I feel like I've missed every prediction, but
I may have missed every prediction as well. I don't know what's going on.
I'm all right. I missed
I got one.
the first one. I got the second. Missed the third. Got the fourth. And barely got the fifth.
All right, so there we go. We'll go ahead and talk, boys. Let's do it. Jacksonville Jags go to KC, and they come out victorious despite a late-minute frenzy out of Thomas Wheeler. I know on my end I said this is a game I feel like KC loses because we've been talking about how good Wheeler is. Wheeler showed he's really good, and the Jags still won behind the back of Asante Sowell and 24 carries, 185 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He murdered the Chiefs. What a rookie.
Yeah. And remember just how Dean kept hyping up Malik Dawson like all last year. Where was he today?
He got 9 tackles.
He had 9 tackles, but Asante Sowell ran over them like it was nothing, And he's the guy in the middle. You got to shut that down, hold the line. But I don't think it was him. I actually think it was everybody else, but still,
Yeah. Big game out of Richard Frazier as well. 7 catches, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns, including a 15-yard touchdown near the end of the game when Chiefs were trying to rally. Game ball, I'd say goes to Asante Sowell. What a game.
No doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, just an absolute monster performance today.
So Richard Frazier with a good performance too. Shout out to him, even on the losing side.
Next game, we got the Jets beating the Broncos in overtime. This was a back and forth game. Jets got up big early, 21-3, and Denver just starts scoring. Sarahi contributes, Jerry Rambo contributes. Darren Werner puts away some of the critics in that fourth quarter as he's just tearing apart the Jets to tie it up with 50 seconds left. But as it turns out, each team had a possession. Then Chris Hogue comes in and knocks in that 39-yard field goal for the win. Manuel Fields didn't have a big enough game as I thought he would. But at the same time, that the pass rush from the Jets is just ferocious. Sacked Warner, looks like 3 times, forced a fumble as well.
Got to give a shout out to Jesse Scott with that 69-yard punt return touchdown. Defense and special teams really played a part in this game for the Jets.
Extra point missed, though. I mean, you think if they hit that extra point, Chris Hogue really redeemed himself end of the game.
It's a little surprising you missed one.
Yeah, game ball. In my opinion, game ball. We'll give it to Eric Wiegert. I think Wiegert had a good game. Pretty decent completion rate. Just really captained New York. Even when everything was falling apart, he found some fortitude. Help him out with the win. What do you guys, game balls?
I'll give it to Elvis Brum for those 1.5 sacks. I'd give it to Zion, but I think Brum was probably just a little bit more crucial, getting that pressure on Werner and making him uncomfortable early.
I will give it to Zion for a crucial turnover, man. Turnovers are everything in this game, and it's a big one. Big one early.
Next game, stunning performance by Dallas, even keeping it close with
Called it.
The overhyped Eagles. I mean, we've been stroking the Eagles' ego for 2 hours now.
I was expecting Rodriguez to kind of have that return to form game with Sir Wendell at his side.
And the running game was back too. Abraham and Adrian Robinson as a change of pace. The Eagles definitely had some weaknesses exposed today, but just a combination of different things, I guess. Division rivalry games always lead up to pretty crazy games, but Mark Kirschbaum, the 32-yard field goal to win it. I think he'll get
win these games.
Yeah, I think I'll give my game ball to Kirschbaum for the winning score.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. He was clutch at the end.
Yeah, scored the last 6 points in the game for the Eagles to win.
Super clutch with the Eagles down by that first kick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 46-yarder. Clutch as fuck.
Clutch as fuck. Now, the shootout in the desert. Aaron Devereaux, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. Jarius Jones, 4 touchdowns. The Saints win 38-35. What a freaking Sean Jenkins.
So, I went I went after the safeties, to be honest. Went after Beasley and yeah.
Evans, I got you back.
But
But Sean Jenkins having that Ty Miller-like game that Ty Miller put up against the Steelers earlier this year. Jenkins just dicking all over the Cardinal secondary. Clearly the game ball goes to him. Shout out to Ian Gardner for making the one play on defense on the day. At least someone did something. And, there's 3 sacks in the game.
I mean,
got some pressure up in there.
When all of Sean Jenkins' touchdowns are from 20 yards or more, Gardner just got burnt. Gardner had to have been playing the short stuff, and Jenkins slipped behind Beasley. Jenkins with his 4.15 speed, no pads on, probably has higher top end speed.
Clearly the target now for the Cardinals. I think you got to go. Yeah, this is a problem here. We need to address this fast. I'd imagine. That's just me.
Yeah, it's tough to see what Chicago Ted Randy are thinking. Could be a possibility. But, as we all said, shootout, Devereaux showing efficiency, Jarius coming back with vengeance, didn't miss a beat. Marshawn Matheson really struggled, though.
Got involved in the passing game. I'll give him that. But, very rough day on the ground for him.
Yeah. Again, Sean Jenkins, game ball. 10 receptions, 194 yards, 3 touchdowns.
We still didn't play a fourth quarter.
It's okay, though. It's okay. Skip Gibson at least showed up.
Yeah.
For once.
Last game, Tampa going up to Charlotte and losing one in overtime. Schlichter does not get 100 yards rushing. to the surprise of maybe one person.
Be kind of a fall factor for him.
Kevin Wynn.
Yeah. Kevin Wynn. Oh, he
That's a
doesn't
name I don't
win.
think I've heard in a while. I don't know
Except
if he's
today. He doesn't win today.
Yeah. But, I think this really shows where the problem for Carolina, where it lies going forward. I don't think they can compete in the playoffs like this. This is not working. When your rushing game is -4 yards, I don't think you can beat a very good football team, a team that's healthier than Tampa Bay, a team that's better than Tampa Bay. And I think that's a big takeaway. Even though Skaggs can Skaggs all he wants, but, it's still tough.
I don't know. I think Tampa's got fantastic talent. Their coaching is starting to put it together. I'm not really surprised by the result as close as it was, but I think Carolina is just so potent right now in their skill positions and with Skaggs. They could be able to pull it off. I won't say they will, but we saw the Eagles almost drop a game to a really bad Dallas team. We saw the Giants did drop a game. So the Panthers could make it out number one in the NFC.
I think maybe the favorite going forward with the health factored in, and I think it might actually be going to hype them up again, so this won't actually be them, but I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions.
Oh, God.
Preseason favorite every year.
Preseason Super Bowl champion Detroit Lions, 5 years running.
Yeah, I think they may put it together this year just because, France is back, and that's totally why. Not really why, but I think they might actually start to become the favorites. Even though they've been playing close, I think they're a more solid all-around team than the Panthers right now than the Eagles right now.
Also a fun fact, the last, I think, 2 or 3 years, the NFC representative for the Super Bowl has been the 4 seed, and Detroit is currently sitting in that 4 seed.
So just lock it in now.
Detroit Lions, Super Bowl champions yet again.
No, the Raiders are the Super Bowl champions. The Lions are Super Bowl participant.
All right. It's been a great show. I really do enjoy hosting these. I just don't really have the time often these days. Thanks for Dean and Imposter. Come and join NFL Live. If you guys ever want to be on NFL Live, or maybe someone listening wants to host NFL Live one Sunday, feel free to. But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. It's been a blast hearing the 3 of us ramble for 2 hours about random simulated players and games. Shout out to everyone. I think we're gonna close up. You guys have any final statements?
Go Browns.
Go Browns. What's the fourth quarter? Go Falcons. Eat shit, Sophos.